All right, guys, let's talk about this real deal. Here's the thing. There's a serious point of contention in this country. And I think America is the world's policeman, whether we like it or not. And when we ignore evil that's on the march, sooner or later it's going to get to our doorsteps. And here's the thing, Matt. I say global peace is the foundation for global prosperity, but we can't ignore ISIS, we can't ignore Putin and expect to be prosperous, the stock market to go up, and our economy not to have any hitches.
This is one of the topics that we probably really disagree on. I don't think we should be the police of the world. In my opinion, we can't pick and choose. Because why don't we go into North Korea? Because right now North Korea can't reach us with a weapon. But look at the atrocities that are going on there. Look at Africa, the atrocities that are going on there. Syria was such a disaster. People getting killed there. We didn't really step in there. So in my opinion, you can't pick and choose. You either police the entire world or you don't. And I think what makes some stock market go up is keeping this country safe. Even though we're in a global environment, we need to keep our borders safe, and that's more important in my opinion.
What do you think, Dani?
Democracies can deal with democracies really well, and we've seen that over the years, and really you don't see a lot of democracies going to war against each other. But who would have thought what happened with Russia and Ukraine would have happened? That certainly wasn't on anybody's radar, and in terms of geopolitical risk, it's really always there.
But it did have an impact on our stock market.
It absolutely does.
And it still continues to hover around.
And there's so many things that will, in the future, have an effect on our stock market that have nothing to do with the companies that trade here necessarily. However, I agree with you, Matt. I don't think that we need to be the UN should be the policeman of the world, but it's not.
Oh my God! Those light blue helmets are like target practice. I take them as serious as I would take a mall cop.
I disagree.
Listen, no country takes the UN peacekeepers seriously.
True.
The only people that take seriously are Americans. We've got the drones, we've got the power, and you do have to pick and choose. You have to decide which one of these things can create a domino. Which one of these could be a modern-day Genghis Khan? Which one of these things could be the Taliban? Because you know what? We ignored a lot of things, and look what happened to us.
But then worry when Putin hits Estonia, a NATO country. Then you start to worry. Does NATO go in, and do we all get involved?
That's what NATO is. That's the contract we signed.
But that's what I'm saying. Then you start to worry. Until then, I think these guys are right. I think the blips are going to bother us along the way, but at the end of the day, you're not going to see boots on the ground as long as this president.
I think we're going to see boots on the ground, period. And that's what scares me. Is like, what will we do? Do we really have to wait for an attack to one of our neighbors?
Yeah, well, I agree with you. I think that what we just saw, and I mean, this has something to do with what they were saying as well. But I think what we saw, this upward trajectory of the Dow, is a relief rally. People feel better. The fact that we just got involved.
A relief rally that was sparking. We started dropping 500-pound bombs on ISIS, which is running belligerent over an entire region that could destabilize the entire world.
But you mentioned boots on the ground. If that happened, I don't think anybody.
We're not going to do boots on the ground. I know that. I'm not that crazy, but I do believe we have to intervene. But I want to shift gears a little bit because on this foreign policy thing, Hillary over the weekend, Heatha, this is Hillary Clinton. She actually threw President Obama under the bus in this whole foreign policy thing. And to me, it seems to put more pressure on him and this whole ideology of leading from behind or drawing imaginary lines that nobody respects. Here's the quote. She said, "Great nations need an organizing principle, and don't do stupid stuff is not an organizing principle." In other words, you just can't pay the belligerents of the world lip service. You can't say, "Oh, guys, don't do that. That's mean. That's bad."
Well, I think it's really funny. And
especially from the golf course.
For the record, I am not a Hillary Clinton supporter at all. But I think it's interesting how she could just throw the president under the bus once she feels like it's misaligned with what she may be campaigning for. And I agree with you. She maybe has a point here. No, you can't just, quote, do stupid stuff and, try to get away with it. But at the same time, I don't agree with her misaligning herself with us just for the fact that she might get elected.
You can't do what the president's been doing now, just talking and drawing red lines and letting him cross and doing nothing, because then America loses its backbone. But you have to be either one or the other. Either you're going to go in and go into every conflict, or just step aside and let it go on. And
I don't agree. I think you got to pick the conflicts.
But don't you think the rest of the world hates us already, and now we're picking and choosing, and they're saying the only reason America's doing it is because of oil, because their interests, they don't really care about us.
And yet, look at the oil market. The oil market's telling you everything is just Jim Dandy. I think it's funny that Hillary has the nerve to say anything, because she did a bang-up job on Benghazi, right? so she has the right to talk about foreign policy right now.
Well, and she is hoping to obviously be the president in 2016, so we would have to wait and see how her foreign policy would look.
Well, I think
She's
we
not gonna
already
do
kind of
stupid
see.
things, we know
I will
that.
tell you what. I don't know what the hell Kerry. I mean, Kerry's doing. Is it Kerry? Who's?
Here.
Yeah.
See, this
Got
is
Karen.
bad. You don't even know.
Oh my God! I mean, now you talk about a guy who just. You think those
so
light blue UN
disengaged.
helmets are funny? I mean, when he steps up to the podium, no country takes this guy serious.
You know, I don't necessarily. I'm not for Kerry. I'm not for Hillary either. I think that we've got a few other choices, possibly in the wings. I think there's some other women that could potentially
Right.
come up and step to the plate.
Dani,
but
at some point, though, America's going to have to fight. We are
we
going to
have
have to
been
fight.
fighting. When have we not been fighting? That's
We're
my
going to
question.
have to fight. We're going to have to fight to win, though. One point.